But Ewan, we spoke about how these feats he's doing now is very akin to a certain rider that we all know who is Eddy Merckx. Just on Twitter, they came out with someone put on he's the first rider since Eddy Merckx in 1996 to win both Paris-Nice and the Ronde van Vlaanderen in the same year. We said that he's the first rider to win a Tour de France and basically having the two races on his palmarès since again Eddy Merckx. So yeah, there is a bit of a curse with people where you say they're the next Eddy Merckx. Remco Evenepoel has had that tag, Ed van Bosenhagen, Peter Sagan. I'm sure we can figure out some other people, but
Peter
yeah,
Seri.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm trying to, there's more people, isn't there?
In Eddy Merckx.
Yeah.
I
Um,
mean, we see it all the time, really. But I think Pogacar just past the point of being like the next Eddy Merckx. He is just Pogacar, I think. Often the tagline of next Eddy Merckx is given to someone that we think might do lots of things. And we now know Pogacar can, which is, I mean, super refreshing to see a rider do this. Because, I mean, one day racing and Grand Tour racing, we've sort of seen them as separate entities since probably the beginning of the 21st century. And now we're seeing like a confluence of both interests. And Pogacar's like the frontman for it. It is good. And I hope he sort of inspires other riders coming through to target one day racing so that we see more all round racing. But I do think Pogacar's like a once in a generation kind of rider. I know Evenepoel's doing a lot of one day racing and he's doing it pretty well, but Pogacar just has this racing sort of energy and racing spirit and nature instilled in him. Like it's just there. Like this kind of thing, like it can't be taught. He just has this like second nature about him, which I think some other riders maybe lack. Evenepoel is very often sort of a bit clumsy or a bit of a maverick sometimes. We see it a lot, even in recently in Catalonia. And then sort of other riders as well, sort of Roglic gets caught up in crashes, even though he's a good racer. Even like Vingegaard, he doesn't really do the one day racing. I don't think he has that same sort of racing instinct that Pogacar would have.
I can see him
So
doing Ronde van Vlaanderen, let alone winning Ronde van Vlaanderen.
he wouldn't even do he wouldn't even come top five in Liège Bastogne or Liège.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So it like it really is like a Herculean effort from Pogacar, and I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back. I think he has a real appreciation for the feats of the sport, not in like a weird like fetishization of the old, but like a sort of he respects it. I hate the word respect in cycling though.
to sticking with Eddy Merckx. We were talking about Eddy Merckx, and then people got angry at us because we were like, "Yeah, this is Eddy Merckxian," and then they were kind of like, "No, it's not. Eddy Merckx has 5 tours. He has all these things. Yes, but Tadej Pogačar is 24. Where was I think Merckx the first time he won a Tour de France, he was 24. Tadej Pogačar's already got two. So I mean, and we're in like a completely different era of cycling as well. Whereas when Merckx was doing it, it was a lot more like everyone was at every single race. Now it's like everyone's a lot more specialized. So he is the modern
Yeah,
day Eddy Merckx. Like there's no way around it. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be over 100 victories by the time he finishes.
could be over 100 victories pretty soon.
Yeah, what is
Um,
he on now?
I mean, I know Roglic is somewhere towards like 70 or something, and Roglic has only been around since 2016 in the sort of this iteration of Roglic.
Okay, do you want to guess?
65.
And play along at home if you're comment down below before I say it. 56, so pretty close.
I was close. Was close. Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. He's 24. He's still got plenty more time. He's not going to turn 25 until September. There's so much more to have. You wonder, like, what is the ceiling for Pogacar?
I mean, one thing that Eddy Merckx has done that no GC rider has ever done, and we talk about it all the time, win the 5 monuments. So Ronde van Vlaanderen, Milan-San
Yeah.
Remo, Paris-Roubaix, Lombardia, Liège. He's won 3 of them now.
It's so different, though, the sport. I think as well, the fact that it's fully professional now, at least at the World Tour level,
Yeah,
people like can really sort of they can bank on being hyper specialized and it not backfiring on their sort of profession and livelihood,
that's
which is
true.
different to like back in the day where it wasn't necessarily fully professional. They were fighting for money and whatever, blah blah blah. Merckx just was the strongest, and then the strongest rider won. Where
Every week.
nowadays there's tactics, there's a whole team structure, a team hierarchy, and yada yada. Well, it is very different. I think Pogacar really capitalizes on it, and I think what Pogacar does is like he really is sort of he's really tamed this new paradigm shift. And I think maybe if we had Pogacar in the Sky era, it just wouldn't have worked. He's very much a product of his time and his context. I think it just it really everything about it I feel like complements Pogacar dominating at least until 2026. I don't want to second guess what could happen after that because there might be some kids coming through, Michael Lennon, who could like just sort of jump through the ranks and just like surprise us. There might
Uh,
be some new Eddy Merckx 14-year-old who's still at high school in Belgium. who's just waiting to take on Paris-Roubaix and the Ronde van Vlaanderen and win every race possible on the calendar.
I mean, other
I
things
doubt.
did happen in the race as well, so we could focus on that, not just on Tadej Pogačar. Well, unsurprisingly, he's the main theme. But you and Wout van Aert, like Jumbo-Visma, had this amazing record of podiums in every single. We spoke about it on the recap of on the Cycling Day Extra channel, but this phenomenal record, so many different riders on the podium, and yeah, we saw them throw Nathan van Hooydonk into the break, which we both thought was the wrong riders to send up there. Laporte would have been a great rider if he had the legs, but didn't really work out in the end.
I don't think Laporte had the legs full stop. His result on the day was outside top 10. I'm not convinced it was like a solid Laporte. He's had really good rides already this season. Nathan van Hooydonk looked good. He rode well. They did the same tactic as UAE. UAE just had a stronger card. Nathan van, not even just because of Pogacar, but like Van Aert just wasn't strong enough on the day. We saw that. He was distanced by both Van der Poel and Pogacar. And it's not like at Idri when like he came back. He didn't. He did not come back. And I think it just shows that like while Van Aert was just missing something. It might come back in time for Paris-Roubaix next week, but I don't know what it is about Wow, but he just cannot seem to like click at these high level races under the pressure alongside these guys. They just seem to be a little bit better on these big blue ribbon races.